So I would like to read out the part of the message because it's almost 18 pages. So we'll read brief few paragraphs and then we'll hopefully complete the message by the end of this Bandara. Love irons out all wrinkles. Dear friends, on 21st July 1945, our beloved Pujya Babuji Maharaj registered Sri Ramchandra Mission under the Society's Registration Act of UP at the offices of the Assistant Registrar. And this year, we are celebrating 75th year of our mission's flourishing. What is not so well known is that during the period leading to the following the mission's registration, the hierarchy of great beings intercommunicated with Babuji Maharaj the principles, the akhlaq upon which this organization was to be built. Here I would make a passing remark that many of us did not know, except that Babuji was able to communicate with Lalaji now and then, or vice versa. Lalaji would give him a message. But none of us, except the first few early disciples of Babuji Maharaj like Ishwar Sahai, Rameshwar Prasad Mishra, Sister Kasturi, I think that's all. They became aware because Babuji used to share the messages that he used to get from, for example, Guru Nanak Ji, Kabir Sahab, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prophet, Lord Jesus, Buddha, and of course Vivekananda, Lalaji himself, and Radha and Krishna. Many other souls also used to communicate, giving him guidance as far as health is concerned. For example, Sage Dhanvantari. Few of the pantheon, members of the pantheon of club of seven rishis, Sapta Rishis, Ashtavakra, not Ashtavakra, Atri and Agastya. These two used to regularly communicate with Babuji, especially during the time just before independence. 2 years before the independence, Rishi Agastya took charge under the orders of Lord Krishna for the freedom of India. Well, these things were not known to most of us. We came to this knowledge only after reading his autobiography, that how great he was and how he continues to guide us even now from the brighter world. He kept a great secret within himself. He did not boast like many people who these days even they go deep within themselves and they start talking to themselves and they think that they are receiving messages from the great beings. Master of Caliber, they don't talk nonsense. They don't display that, oh, I know this and I know that, and look, Rama or Hanumanji communicated with me, or Lord Shiva communicated with me. Nowadays it has become a fashion. Okay. These guiding principles are still as fresh, as vitally relevant today as they were in the 1940s. So I would like to share with you a few excerpts that have been so carefully recorded in Babuji's diaries. They remain a beacon towards which we may all steer our personal behavior, how we treat each other, how we work together, and how we behave or relate with the Master. This Platinum Jubilee year is the perfect opportunity to revisit these principles and recalibrate our understandings of the spirituality. I think for most of us it's not a revisit, we are visiting these principles for the first time, I think. If we can take the time to study these gems and reflect upon how they manifest in our lives and work, we will be able to set out our intention like we set the helm of a boat and sail towards the vibrant egregore of Akhlaq. We will become shining ambassadors of Sri Ramchandra mission, fulfilling the purpose for which it was founded those 75 years ago. Every member of this mission is a representative of Sri Ramchandra ji. It is not the only duty of successor to represent the mission, but every member of this organization, if they care, if they love their Master so much, it becomes our responsibility and make this mission, the purpose of the mission, as our own goal and achieve it before we kick the bucket. So we continue. We start with a series of diary entries leading up to the registration. On 12th October 1944, Lord Krishna is present for the first time in Babuji's diaries. And together with Lalaji Maharaj, they start preparing the field for the future of this mission. Lord Krishna shares some important guidance. 19th October 1944, Lord Krishna tells, the principles of life should be very simple. Number 1, cultivate the habit of speaking the truth. Number 2, abstain from useless auditory and visual pleasures. I wonder how they foresaw the aspect of visual pleasures. Of course, there were radios, etc., but that was only auditory. Number 3, love to children, respect for elders, service to parents. Love to children, respect to elders, and service to parents. Honest living. 5, remain well intentioned. Number 6, have no covetous eye on what belongs to somebody else. 7, avoid adopting a threatening attitude to others. 8, try to keep cool and calm. Number 9, restrain from uttering any word that may cause hurt to another's heart. Number 10, in spite of all this, drawing out one's sword in the face of the enemy is not forbidden, but it should be for the defense of someone. Number 11, prayer and worship, Sandhya, should be performed twice a day, at sunrise and sunset. In view of the altered times, I have not ordered Sandhya a third time, which is to be done at noon. These are ordinary principles which everybody ought to observe. Accidentally, I found the importance of the afternoon meditation. Sometime in 2011, 12, 13, 14, during Master's lifetime, upon his instructions, I used to stay in the office in Manapakam. He said, attend to Abhyasi's needs, start going to the office that I had built and never been able to use it. So I started using that office. Abhyasi started coming right after that 9 o'clock satsang. At times there were about 40, 50, sometimes 80 Abhyasis to be consulted. And but by the time I would leave the office, sometime 12 o'clock, sometime 1 o'clock, and only way to say bye to them was to give them a sitting. Every day it became a kind of ritual. Around that time, 12 o'clock, and to my utter surprise, I found that those sittings were extraordinarily deep. More, I would say, I found the depths during those sittings and morning and evening satsangs. But as Lord Krishna says, because of this altered times of present era, he doesn't insist on third Sandhya. There is a reference to it also in first maxim. Babaji writes, that's the time when at noon it's the closest distance between this. The sun is right above our head. I really don't know, and I fail to ascribe the importance of straightness over the head of the sun. But I do have some inkling why this happens. Perhaps sun is also used in many ways in distributing this transmission. It's food for a thought for many of us. In a chapter called My Vision, Babaji writes, I am using the sun's energy at the moment, that's why it's losing the heat at the moment. But once the work is over, it will regain its heat. To be exact, he doesn't say I am using, but he says the special personality appointed for the overhaul is using the heat, which the sun will regain once the task at hand is over. So there are indirect indications of sun playing a part in spirituality. One day I was working, and all of a sudden my attention moved for many days with the solar movement, sun movement. And often we think sun to be present only when we are moving around, and so it's above here, it's right this side or this side. But hardly do we pay attention to the noon that is going on right now. Right now, India is the morning, but it's already a noon somewhere else, and it's a night somewhere else. Anyway, these are some of the hints where a preceptor of caliber can work with the sun. I am not sharing it, the knowledge how to work on it, because what little techniques I have mentioned over the years, people throw more questions than actually using them, and it becomes a gossip for many people. It is unfortunate that I have to lock myself with all this, but there is a greater possibility. I am sharing this only for those evolved people who are able to read between the lines and use their heart in learning the technique on their own. Please don't ask me how it works. You will know it when you are ready for it. So let us all remain and enjoy in his memory today. We are all fortunate in some way because his dream was that every household becomes a center of light. His dream was, especially Lalaji's dream, that every household shall have a preceptor. Every household shall have a preceptor. And now, when the time has come, I see that every household is becoming an ashram. It is a tragedy, of course, that we are not able to invite our neighbors. The tradition in India is generally whenever we have puja, Swami Narayan Katha or this Katha or that Katha, all the neighbors, friends, relatives are invited and we start worshipping together in that sanctimonious, auspicious way. We can also invite them and have a group meditation and say, let's all meditate together. I don't think they will say no. They may not practice every day, but you will give them a glimpse of what meditation is once in a blue. This is not the period when we can invite them, but in future, whenever such episodes, such grand days, Master's birthdays come along, or why wait for birthdays? When this lockdown is over and your heart says, okay, let's invite friends and family members and neighbors, meditate together. Don't have big tamasha. You can have a nice little brunch, have a good meditation, watch one of the master classes, and that's all. On their own, people who like to meditate, they'll be attracted towards it and they'll ask for more and more of it. Just as Katha has become a ritual in many families, let us make this aspect of meditation to start with a ritual. One day it will become real. Thank you.